current using the Ohm's law. There is a circuit which contains one battery, there is one bulb, that is a load device, and these are the wires. So to find out, this is the basic circuit, and we now converted that circuit into the symbolic form. That is a battery of the 1.5 voltage, that is the EMF source, that is the resistance of a 2 ohm. So here the two quantities will be given, that is the voltage and the resistance V and R. So according to the Ohm's law, if the two quantities can be given, we can find out the third quantity, that is the current. So here ultimately our main aim to find out the current. So we can apply the equation of the current, that is I equals to V by R. So for us the V is the 1.5 voltage and the R is a 2 ohm. So according to that equation, 1.5 by 2, that gives us the 0.75 ampere. So we can see that if we connect the 2 ohm resistor with the 1.5 volt battery, then the overall current flowing in the circuit is the 0.75 ampere. So it is very important. This is what exactly the Ohms observed. It takes, if you connect the wire with the battery and the load resistor, one bulb, then the current can be easily flowing from the circuit. The current which flow in the circuit is directly proportional to the voltage which offered. So we can say that I is proportional to the V. Current is exactly, it also depends upon the resistance. As we already discussed, what is the resistance? It is just a property to oppose the flow of current. As in the picture, there is a property to oppose the flow of water. So I is inversely proportional to the resistance. So combining both these two, I is proportional to V and I is proportional to 1 by R, we can easily say that I equals to V by R. So now Ohm gives the equation, that is the V equals to I into R. This is the very important equation. Now friends, the temperature effects on a resistance. Temperature has a significant effect on the resistance of a conductors, semiconductors and insulators. So all the three materials, basic materials, are directly depends upon or strongly depends upon the temperature. There are two types of temperature coefficients. These are the positive temperature coefficient, it's a PTC, and the negative temperature coefficient, it's a NTC. For a good conductor, an increase in the temperature will result directly in increase in the resistance level. It means if the temperature is high, the resistance is also high. So consequently, we can say that the conductor has the positive temperature coefficient, that is PTC. And if we take the example about the semiconductor, then we can say that with an increase in the temperature, the resistance level in semiconductor will be decreased. It means consequently we can increase the temperature level and we get the resistance decrease. That means the semiconductor has the negative temperature coefficient, that is NTC. It's a very well known quantity which is very useful in electricity. See, there is an example which gives something brief idea about the inferred absolute temperature. The resistance increases almost linearly with an increase in the temperature to the inferred absolute temperature, that is the minus 234.5 degrees Celsius. You can see here, beyond the inferred absolute temperature, there is an absolute zero temperature. So there is no linearity. So here we get the linearity at the point of inferred absolute temperature, that is a minus 234.5 degrees Celsius. So here you can take the relation between the resistance level, that is R1, R2, R3 up to Rn, with respect to the temperature. So as per that observation, we can make the observation, that is the resistance level will be changed according to the temperature will be changed. So the temperature coefficient of the resistance directly gives us the equation, that is the xt equals to x0 into 1 plus alpha t. This is the most important equation which is directly given as a temperature effect. So we can see that the higher the temperature coefficient of resistance for a material, the more the sensitive the resistance level. If the material is very strongly depends upon the temperature, it directly very sensitive to the temperature coefficient. So when we use the temperature coefficient, we just generally prefer the material like copper, because it has a more sensitive towards the temperature variation rather than the silver, gold or aluminum. So ultimately, as a temperature coefficient, the material will be preferred is a copper wire. There is one videos which gives us the temperature coefficient of resistance. The temperature coefficient of resistance, we can easily find out the temperature coefficient of the resistance, which is positive temperature coefficient, or NTC, that is a negative temperature coefficient, which gives us the equation, that is xt equals to x0 into 1 plus alpha t, where xt is nothing but the temperature at the resistance of a wire at the t degree Celsius, x0 is the resistance of wire at the 0 degree Celsius, and alpha is the coefficient of temperature and T is the only temperature. Now move toward the concept of open circuit, closed circuit and a short circuit. There is a figure which generally the scientists prefer. There are one battery, that is the EMF source of energy, there is a switch, that is the loading device. We cannot directly, or we cannot anytime draw the circuit like that. So we just we just move towards the simplified model of that. We represent the symbols like a battery, that is for the bulb, and that is for a switch. So here is a cell, it's a lamp, is a bulb, switch like that, and the wires. These are all the wires which directly make the circuit complete. The concept of open loop circuit, or what is the open circuit? If the circuit is break in its path, conducting path, then no current can flow from the circuit, and hence the output device, we can say that the bulb, for in our case, it will not work. So we conclude that in the open circuit the current cannot flow easily. See the figure where the open circuit, all the portions, here the battery, here the wires are connected with the bulb, also the some of the portion is connected with the switch, and another part or terminal of the battery that is connected with the switch. But exactly what happens, the switch is break here, it means it doesn't have the closed path, that means it is an open loop circuit. So you can see that the bulb will not glow. So in open circuit no current can flow from the circuit and output device will not work. It's just example of the open loop circuit. We just consider as a circuit as a closed loop, so current can easily flowing toward the circuit, into the circuit. There is a positive terminal, there is a negative terminal. Here the connectivity between the battery to the wire to the load resistor, load device, there is a bulb, and into the negative terminal. Here what happens, whenever we are applying the supply, then the negative terminal generate the electrons and they repel back the negative electrons towards the circuit, so that electrons flow into the load device. But if the path is break here, then what happens, it behaves like an open circuit. And friends, keep in your mind, the open circuit has the large amount of resistance. So if we know that if the value of the resistance is very high, the current will not flow in the circuit and ultimately the bulb will not glow. So we can also again we can conclude that in the open loop circuit the current will never flow. The concept of closed loop circuit. If the circuit is not breaking the path, then the current can easily flow from the circuit, because electrons has now the path to flowing directly into the circuit, and hence the output device, that is a bulb in our case, is easily work. So we can easily conclude that in the closed loop circuit the current can easily flow. See the figure. Again the battery, it has a positive terminal, negative terminal. The positive terminal of the battery will be connected with the bulb, with the wires. Another part of the bulb is with the connected with the switch. The switch is now totally closed and it is connected with the negative terminal of the battery. So this is the closed path. So electrons directly flowing into the circuit through the filament of the bulb and the bulb will glow. See the figure. So ultimately we can conclude that in a closed loop circuit the current flow and the bulb will glow. This is again one example of the closed loop circuit or the short circuit. What is exactly the short circuit? This is all basic about the electricity. Here we just take one example of the direct current DC circuit components. So to understand that one, just we take one battery, DC battery, that has the value of 9 volt. So if you want to change the value, then just go through the property and just change the value. That is a now 9 volt battery. Now to understand the concept of the short circuit, we just again take the electrical wires. So just go through the electrical wires. Yes, now connect the circuit with using the wires. To measure the current, we are just prefer the ammeter. Here the multimeter work as a ammeter. Again we take the current and now see what happened when we connect it with the directly battery. See what happened exactly. Whenever we are connecting that wires with the directly with the battery, then it will be fired, it will be exploded, and that's a very dangerous thing if we perform with in the laboratory. So this is the short circuit. Here you cannot control the flow of electrons. So friends, if we want to control the flow of electrons, what we required one resistor. So just putting one resistance in the path of the current or the circuit, you can control the flow of electrons, and now that becomes the closed circuit. Just see the example. Just take the one resistor, putting in the path of the circuit, connect also it. See, now you can easily see that the flow of electrons will be controlled, and now the battery is not damaged. So this is the closed loop circuit. This is the importance of resistance used in an electrical circuit. Now the series and the parallel circuit concepts. Here we can see that in the series circuit, all the components are connected in a series form, like that. It's a row, all the components are in a one row. So if any one of the light or any one of the bulb will be destroyed or will be not working, then overall circuit will be stopped. See the figure upper. Here one bulb will be not working, then overall circuit will be stopped. But what about the parallel circuit? It has the many ways. It's not a single row. It has the many paths for the electricity. So ultimately what happens, if one of the bulb or one of the component will be lost or one of the component will be stopped working, then current will continue to flow toward the another path. So this is the advantage of the parallel circuit. Now to measure the current in a series and parallel circuit, here just we take the one example, the series and the parallel circuit. Here you can see that this series circuit, here there is a ammeter, there is a two bulbs, EMF. Again this is the parallel circuit. Here the two bulbs are in parallel with each other, or you can say that they are in shunt with each other. If you want to measure the current in a series or parallel circuits, friends, keep in your mind, always use ammeter in a series form. See another example. Current is always same at all the points in the circuit in a series part. Here if the 2 ampere is the current, then you can see that the 2 ampere is also here, 2 ampere is also here. So any part of that closed circuit, the value of the current will be same, that is the 2 ampere in a series circuit. So we can conclude that in a series form the value of current is not changed, it becomes the same, it is the same towards the all circuit. But what about the parallel circuit? In the current is set between all the points. Here the example, the 2 ampere current, the 2 ampere current, now it is divided into the two parts. So 2 ampere current will be divided into two, that is a 1 ampere and 1 ampere. So we can conclude that in a parallel circuit the current will be shared. Now voltage measured in a series and parallel circuits. This is the draw of the series and parallel circuit. Here the two bulbs also in series form, two bulbs are in parallel form. So if you want to measure the voltage, then use multimeter as a parallel form. See the figure. If you want to measure the current, then you have to use multimeter as a ammeter in series but voltmeter in parallel form. Now again, voltage is different at all the points in the circuit in series form, whereas the voltage is the same between all the components in a parallel circuit. So friends, we can see that in a series circuit the current is same but the voltage is different. In a parallel circuit the current is different but the voltage is same. So this is the basic conclusion. Now how exactly the resistor connected in a series? See the figure, that is the source voltage, that's a point A, resistor R1, point B R2, point C R3 up to the point H, and the resistors are using, that is R1, R2 up to R7. So it's a series circuit, so we can say that all the circuit contains the same current. Now the equivalent circuit of that one is, we can replace all the resistor with the equivalent resistor which is putting over here. So ultimately the value of that R equals to R1 plus R2 plus R3 up to the resistance R7. So this is the important equation if we connect the resistor in a series form. Now what about the resistors connected in a parallel? The parallel connected circuit elements have the same voltage across that terminal as we already discussed. So here the circuit, that the points are A and B, and all the resistors are connected in parallel form or in a shunt form, R1, R2, R3 and R4. So the equivalent circuit of that resistor is indicated as R equal to. So to find out the R equal, the equation will be used, that is a 1 upon R eq equals to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3 plus 1 by R4. Or if we are prefer the n up to n resistor, then it goes to the 1 upon Rn. So this is also the important equation to find out the resistor in a parallel form. Now the Kirchhoff's law. Friends, Ohms gives the best equation relation between the V, I and R, but it is limited. That equation is limited whenever the source of energy, that is the EMF, is